Hello there. Today, we're going to work on the DECWriter 2 some more. I'm really hoping that this project goes well here with this final attempt at repairing this thing, because I'm going to remove one of the solenoids and attempt to directly re-grease the pin in it. Now, we left off the last video where it looked like this. We can see the top of that E is missing, except that it isn't. It is actually there, but it's very weak. The solenoid that drives that pin went up in smoke in my last project because, well, let's make a long story short, I made a mistake. Now I'm hoping that it was actually the oil inside of the solenoid that burnt and expanded and heated up and smoked, because the resistance of the coil is still the exact same and it's clearly working. So I'm hoping there's just friction inside of the coil that's preventing it from moving as far as it needs to and with enough force. So I'm going to try and remove one coil from the print head of the DECWriter 2 and see if I can clean and re-lubricate the pin. Here's a tighter shot of those E's. You can see that those, especially middle three there, it is printing, it is impacting. It's just extremely faint. The pin from the solenoid is barely tapping the ribbon onto the paper. Now, if we look at the manual, we can see that you are supposed to be able to remove these solenoids. There's a nut here, and this whole thing slides out from the front. The pin actually goes all the way through this up to the front of the head. So I'm going to try and remove this solenoid to re-grease it, and hopefully that brings it back to life. But I have to worry about this ribbon cable, these wires that go to the coil, and then the depth of the solenoid into the head actually matters because the print head pin goes all the way to the front. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this apart and I'm going to get a really tight shot of the front of the print head so that I can see the depth of this pin. And then as I start backing it out, I want to make sure that it does actually move back so that I can just make sure that when I go to put it back, I get it calibrated to the correct position, because I could easily offset the pins from each other, and that's just going to give me all kinds of new headaches. All right, last screw, and we can see some of the cleverness that went into the design of this part, because this is a serviceable component that is replaceable here. It's not particularly easy to replace, but it is replaceable. So we're going to get a shot of the front here with the pins, and then we're going to, I don't know, probably desolder this one. I'm going to have to figure out which wires go from here to the edge of the board, and then remove this vintage, probably polyamide Kapton tape. I don't know. I think I'm seeing some fibers there. Maybe it's just yellow because it's 51 years old. But yeah, you can also see in here the ultra thin pins going into the print head. Yeah, I'm going to have to be real careful about this. So there we go. We can see all 7 pins of the print head basically come right up to the front. I'm hoping a little bit that it's not like something where they sand it after they run it up to the front, because it almost looks kind of like they did that. It's definitely go as flush as you possibly can. Maybe it's just sanded smooth from, you know, decades of having the ribbon run over it. Maybe that's it. All right, excuse the camera jiggle. This is very macro zoomed, but I noticed this as I was moving the head around trying to get a look at where the wires are going. This is a good solenoid on this. And this is the one that got a little roasty toasty. So even though it didn't short, and it looks like it tried to short, because there might be some enamel burnt off the side of that wire. I think it melted the potting around the coil and maybe the plastic core. So yeah, this may not be salvageable. All right, looking at this, the entire metal print head mechanism seems to attach here with 2 screws. The only reason I want to remove that is so that I can see where the wires go along here so that I can desolder the one coil before I try and loosen it. So let's remove that. Okay. Now I need to be extra careful. Let me use tweezers, try and feed my way around there to isolate those. Oh, well, that's convenient. It's looking like it's going to be the very end one. Couldn't have got much luckier than that. I'm going to go ahead and screw the head back down now. Okay, so now we desolder those two wires right there, and we can remove that solenoid. All right, that head is now loose, so we can try and release pressure on this screw to get this off. I already checked. I do not have wrenches this small here, so this is a problem. I did forget one thing I wanted to do. I don't think it matters, but I did not mark which wire went to which pad. I'm pretty sure it's AC, but I might be wrong. No, it's not AC, it's DC. Oh, did I need to do that? All right, well, I'm gonna have to hope that in the footage I can see which one, top or bottom, goes to which pad. I'm gonna grab my big multi-tool. The head is narrower and it can bite better. It's gonna scratch up that nut really bad though. But, that just work? Oh my gosh, it worked. Okay, now the fun part, we have to loosen the solenoid, which does not have a fitting thing on it. I was gonna say I could possibly get something into there and wedge it. Oh, that did it. I got it to turn just a little bit by wedging that in there. So far, this pattern's working. I'm gonna not introduce oil yet. I think this will work. Okay. Gosh, that is nuts. All right, so here is the full solenoid removed. Okay, now the pin is real bendy, which I was kind of expecting after I saw how this goes in there. So that's not too surprising. But this is the question I really want to know, is what kind of resistance is there on it? I don't think I can feel it move. It does move, it's just barely at all here. Let me try and record the amount of movement it has, because I think it's just less than I would have guessed. And I've clamped the solenoid to the desk, and if I grab the edge of it here with tweezers and I lightly push on that, you can see it does ever so slightly move, which I compared against ones that are still in the head, and that seems to be about the amount of correct movement, and it feels like about the right amount of force. So I'm not too sure that I can do this, because if that's how little movement there is, I definitely can't just have it poke out slightly farther than the other ones and try and get more force out of it that way. So yeah, this solenoid might just be toast. So I think what has happened here, based on looking at the melted spool in there, the carrier shape hub thing, however you want to think about it, spool for the wire, has melted, and the shape is no longer optimal for generating magnetic force. It should be like a perfect circle. Now it's like crushed or whatever in there. So I think this just may not be translating enough force into the pin to be able to do that, because it has misshapen. So yeah, it may not be repairable. All right, I'm gonna try and put 3-in-1 oil on this still, just for giggles, I guess, because I don't think this is gonna change anything. Just in case. So I'm just barely moving this in and out. You know, I could be convinced it's actually sticking at the top of the action. There's like no way for me to convey it, but if I hold it up at the top, it kind of jerks when it goes back, but it also could be me holding it up against the side of the thing. I can't tell if it moves more now. I feel like I may have pushed it past something, so maybe. I don't know. I'm getting it to tap now. And it very, very positively stops now. I'm now slightly optimistic. I've put drops of 3-in-1 oil down the pin and exercised it, and I think I've actually made some difference here. You can hear that. I'm getting it to slam up against the end of its movement, and I don't think it would reach there before, so I might have worked it past something. So I'm gonna try and put this back and see if it works. All right, I just reviewed my footage for where the two wires went. This one has a distinct browning on the sleeve that the other one does not. So I was able to use that to identify this one is going to the outside. This one goes to the inside. But first, we have to rethread this, which is going to be a little hair-raising. Oh, man, I have to nail the threading into this block. Okay, this is going to suck. So yeah, I have to get it fed into that tiny little silver dot there. That's where it has to go. I'm going to do this, but I'm prioritizing what I can see over what the camera can see. Got it. Okay. I have no idea on earth how this is going to work up here now. Okay, so I see it. But it is hitting something. Okay, well, this is where this gets super de-duper fun now, because I believe I'm going to have to rip this off. So this up here is the problem. So if I pull it back, you'll see its pin there. Yeah, right there. Wow, this is just filled with ink crud anyway. Jeez. I'm going to try and be careful about it because I'm pretty sure this is an aluminum label. I might be able to put it back on. Okay, that might be enough. This sucks. There's definitely more access to that right there. Well, I'm going to grab a flashlight. I'll be right back. Yeah, so you can see the pins down in there. Gets a lot more difficult further up. So I'm just going to try and bend it to right there. Okay. So where is the one? Okay. So that's it. It's the one that's out of alignment right there. I just need to get it in line with the other ones. That's in. Oh, okay. That was an adventure. I see it. The prodigal pin has returned. I can align the pin by rotating it or not, so that's too far out. And then this will be too far in, but it's real, excuse me, it's real tiny and difficult to see. So you're just gonna have to take my word for it. And I instantly moved it, so I will re-torque one last time before I cinch this nut down. That looks good. Okay. And nothing ever happened up there. All right. So now I can mount this back. And then I will have to reset my gap here. Okay, let me get my standard calibration floppy sleeves. So this moves back and forth. The head itself is slotted. And by sheer coincidence, 2 5¼ floppy disk sleeves, or at least these two, are the perfect size to stick this up against and then tighten in place. Tractor paper is best paper. All right, I'm going to turn it on And oh, you're doing, oh, it probably wants me to press the paper button. Okay, maybe I didn't get the calibration quite right there. Depth lever was all the way in, yes. I'm just gonna kind of cram it up against there. All right, let's try this one more time. Oh my gosh, the pin came back. It works! Yes! The DECWriter 2 is fully repaired. Oh my gosh. Well, that is awesome. So I'm pretty sure that plastic spool melted, jammed onto the pin, and then the pin was getting caught. So my opening it and manually exercising it cleared the way. Oh man, that is such a relief. I did not fully murder the solenoid. Oh, awesome. This is a typing test. Look at it. It's beautiful. Oh man. Well, I'm gonna wrap it up here. That is such a relief to get that print head working. And that'll be it for this second channel video. So thanks for bearing with me while I did that. I think you can understand why that level of risk was something I didn't want to attempt in the first video, but it was definitely worth it.